Yeah, let's see. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and get this thing started. Uh, well, this, if you don't know already, is what I called Project Mad Max. If you subscribe to me on YouTube or whatever, you know what this thing's about. You know what it is. You know where it's come from. All that good stuff. And if you don't, find my channel on YouTube and kind of watch the series of how this thing kind of came to be. So, but anyway, that's not what tonight's about. Tonight's about a few little upgrades, not necessarily upgrades, but improvements that I made to well, you know, I mean, it just getting my crap out of my truck, man. Don't you know that's important? Not really. But anyway, so a few weeks ago, I posted a video on my YouTube channel about busting the pull start, which is this it's made by a company called Turtle Racing. It's an all aluminum billet pull start. You can service it. You can replace the drive cogs on the inside or the drive dogs or whatever. I ended up busting the recoil spring on it and had to rebuild it. But it's kind of that thing. I just got through running it, so this tune pipe is a little bit warm, but it's that right down there. There are I mean, if you're even really curious about it, they sell them on davesmotors.com. It's all dedicated to fifth scale stuff, but just look up a Turtle Racing V2 pull start. It'll kind of give you some more detailed, descriptions of it. But anyway, busted that, repaired that, and when I was doing that, I never got the motor started again. So I'm like, well, what the hell? With fifth scales, there are a lot of safety precautions. I'm not really sure how they welded that, Dale. That obviously it's probably TIG welded or something like that. But yeah, they pretty much hand build most of these pipes. So yeah, it's that tune pipe's it's a necessity for little small cylinder two strokes like this. Otherwise, you're not going to get any power out of them at all. Flat knot. But anyway, with these fifth scales, these things weigh anywhere from 30 to 45, 50 pounds, and they're able to clock in at sometimes this four-wheel drive job. I mean, this is my hand, and that's the size of the truck itself. So this thing's 36 inches long, weighs in at 30. I would say 45 to 48 pounds probably. But you can imagine the safety precautions that need to be in place to prevent what they call runaways. That's when your radio loses communication with your vehicle here. Throttle sticks wide open. If you're running it around people, you have a lawsuit waiting for you if you don't have what they call a kill switch on it. So, and this is kind of a little bit of a long-winded story here, so bear with me. But a kill switch, what it does, I'll see if I can show you here. It's kind of hard to see, but that little, I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna turn the receiver on real quick. Let me get that thing to quit yelling. There we go. So that green light down there, right? That is a indicator light that the kill switch is active. And what the kill switch does is it is essentially an ignition interrupt. So in the event that your radio glitches out and communications between your transmitter and the vehicle don't exist anymore, what that kill switch does is it kills your ignition. So it essentially just, kills the motor, stops dead in its tracks, all of that. It also detects low voltage in your receiver battery. There's a battery pack in here that controls your servo, your two servos here for throttle and steering. So you can see that a kill switch is almost a necessity when you're running something like this. These things are big and heavy and fast, and there was an article published a few years ago down in Australia about a guy that was running one. It was a little smaller than this. It was a two-wheel drive dune buggy. They call it a Baja is what they call it. And he lost control of it. He didn't have a kill switch on it, and it clipped the legs out of a lady and broke both of her legs, sent her to the hospital. And she sued him because of that. For one, he was stupid enough to run it in a park, which is dumb. And secondly, he was running it without a kill switch. So, anyway, kill switch, necessity. That it absolutely, that's the first thing when I got my first fifth scale back in 2015. That was the first thing I did. I didn't know anything. Initially, I didn't. Oh, we got a train coming, so it's going to get a little bit loud. I didn't know about them. So as soon as I figured out that they're kind of a necessity, I went out and bought one. Have been running the original one for quite a while. Okay, this is going to be loud, so I'm going to try and cover this up. So we've got that coming through right now, so it's going to get a little loud. Bear with me. Alright, there we go. Anyway, so the original one that I bought, I had since 2015 or so. I contacted my engine builder, Dan Siligy. He builds engines for OBR. O'Neill Brothers Racing is what it stands for. But I contacted him because I could not get the engine started at all. After I rebuilt I hope you guys can hear this. But I rebuilt the pull start, pulled on it. Could not get it started. So chatted with him on Facebook and said, "Hey, dude, what do you think?" He's like, "Are you running a kill switch?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." He's like, "Well, those things are notorious for cutting voltage to your coil, which essentially, or not necessarily voltage, but it disrupts the coil." So he's like, "Those things go bad." I'm like, "Well, great, okay, that's an easy fix." So in doing so, I replaced the kill switch, not really knowing whether or not the kill switch is a problem. So what do you do whenever you're not really sure of which piece is the problem? You buy enough pieces to fix it. So I bought a new coil, Bought a new kill switch. Put a new coil wire. It's an MSD. You can kind of see it in there. Put that on the coil. Got a new manual. You can kind of see it. There's a manual kill button there. Let's see if I can get this thing turned off here. There's a manual kill button. So didn't replace that because the kill switch comes with it. It's all wired in and whatnot. But got all that replaced. Hadn't fired it up until, well, I hadn't had time actually, up until tonight, and every improvement that I made on it, whether it be the coil or the kill switch or the plug wire or the new spark plugs or whatever, before I'd have to crank on it, pull on it, my guess is 2 to 3 times I would have to prime, take the air filter off, which is right there, cut my hand over the velocity stack, just so it'll pull a dense enough fuel charge into the cylinder. It would pop once. I would pull on a couple more times, and it would start. With all of the improvements I made in here, it starts on the first pull. So it was money well spent. I mean, it wasn't that much money. It was like $100 or so to replace everything on it. But it's well worth the money. A lot of people say that the coils don't go bad. I beg to differ. I think they get weak after a while. Either that or the plug wires themselves get, wear out. But all of those improvements, I feel like I've got a stronger spark, a more stable running motor, a smoother running motor. Let's put it that way. It's she runs pretty damn good, and I'm pretty pleased with everything. But it's fifth scale, it ain't cheap, but racing full scale ain't cheap either, huh, Dale? But when you get into the racing, anything racing, it's never ever cheap. Fifth scale stuff is it can be pricey, but once you get it to a certain point, it's you get a rock solid platform going. Yeah. No, not yet, Dale. No, not 20,000. Probably 1/5 of that, maybe. I would venture to say. Honestly, a lot of people say, "Well, that's a lot of damn money for an RC car," but not really. Especially something that's of this caliber. I'm not even saying that this is really anything great or nothing like that, but some of those guys will drop $3,000 just on the motor for one of these. So but they are, yeah, you sure can. You can get $5,000 in it for damn sure. The engines, depending on which one you get, can run you $1,000 a piece before you put a pipe or anything on it. If you get in big bore stuff, 46cc or up, you're talking $1,500 to $2,000, fully outfitted with a pipe, carb, billet pull start, that kind of crap. That's not even the titanium pipe. Then you go larger than that, $2,500, probably up to $3,000 or $4,000 for the new 91cc that RC Max just came out with. That's stupid amounts of power in a chassis, like this. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't really race it. I mean, you could, but you're gonna have to be damn good at throttle management. Let's put it that way. But I would, Justin, I don't know if you've ever replaced the coil on yours, but dude, the improvement in overall performance is astounding. It's ridiculous. So if you haven't done it, I would order one and just put a new coil in it, because man, it really livened the motor up. Like I said, it starts with one pull now. It wouldn't before. So, you know, I have yet, knock on wood, to have the motor rebuilt. But, you know, that's probably going to be on the horizon sometime soon. Or I just get a different engine altogether. I don't know. I talked to Dan about, you know, upgrading that one to a Signature Series, and he's like, it's like $300 or something to convert it, which, you know, you can spend $180 on a rebuild for it. So, what's up, kiddo? All right. Yeah. Facebook Live. What are you doing? You want me to put you on Facebook Live? All right. So I guess my son doesn't want to be on Facebook Live. So, whatever. Anyway, kill switch. You know, new coil, new plug wire, new spark plug. All of that made an improvement in how it performs. You know, so well worth the money, well worth the time. You know, I didn't have time, you know, this past week at all to run it, which it was assembled and ready to go. I just got in from Austin yesterday at 5:30, which is a 10-hour drive, and immediately had to go into work. Spent 5 hours there trying to diagnose a freaking network problem up there. But no, I need to. I'm thinking about ordering some pretty soon. Yeah, paddles are going to be awesome. I need to get me some different tires instead of these Hostels here. So I'm looking at a new set of rims, new set of tires, and all that stuff. The rims, I'm not really sure what I want to do. I like the solid dishes. I think they look pretty badass. You know, I don't know. New set of springs. I need to get my spring rates kind of set a little bit better than what they are. I need to get a new set of shocks, that kind of crap. Although, I mean, it runs okay as far as suspension goes. I think the springs are too stiff, though. Maybe try out a different sway bar set. I don't know. A lot of things to kind of play with now that I don't have school, and I can kind of dink around with this stuff a little bit more. Yeah, she running like a striped ass 8, and I'm super 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 happy with the way it runs. I didn't have hardly any breakup on top end. It was strong all the way through the power band. What's up, sis? Yo. But no, it's pretty sweet. So yeah, I need to look at the Proline tires. I'm just not sure which line to go with. So I might be leaning on your ear a little bit, Justin, on what recommendations you might make, because when it comes to, you know, the small knobbies for either loose or you know, hard pack surfaces, I've never even you know, really explored that too much. Decent, sis. Not too much. Yeah, it's not necessarily paint. It's actually a wrap. They're like decals, Matt. But yeah, you can kind of see that. It's got a skull there, and I got my football jersey number. I had them custom do that. That was my number in high school. And it's got a skull with the game over on it. Ordered this out of Great Britain, and a guy over there printed it up for me and sent it over. So yeah, it's pretty slick. I love the blockades. Awesome. Do the blockades work on just about every surface? But you know, I don't know. I mean, it's a hobby like this. It's a constant state of evolution a little bit. But you know, like I said, I'm thinking about even. You know, I got the lights there. You know, I don't race this on a regular basis or nothing like that. I bash it quite a bit and just have you know, just fun with it. You know, that's all I do with it. But I'm thinking about maybe putting some front lights on it. Yes, a striped S8 Molly. So yeah, it does. It runs really, really good. Striped. You could call that a well, maybe not an ape, but a gorilla. Yeah, you could call that like a silverback or something like that. So they work well on both surfaces. Awesome. Well, I might look at buying some of those. But the one thing I did, I did tell you about our the next time we go race or whatever, I'll pull the camper out there, and we'll have AC, power, you know, a fridge, you know, put good stuff in. We won't have to worry about, you know, fighting the wilderness to go racing out in BFE. But you know, I mean, it is. Now one thing I did discover is I haven't put my 20 tooth or a larger pinion gear on there yet, and the reason being is I put the 20 tooth spacers on the bottom, and the lash on it was so horrid that it was binding up. And I'm wondering, I saw a lot of guys in this, for those that don't know what Justin and I are talking about here, that's your pinion gear, that's your spur gear. The bigger one's the spur. But the lash is, or the gear mesh, not the lash, but the gear mesh was so horrid on here that I could barely get it to turn. And I'm wondering, you know, I saw a lot of guys, they'll sand their spacers down to get the gear lash that they need. And I think that's what I'm going to end up having to do, because it was just too tight. There's just not enough, you know, room in there to get a proper gear mesh and proper gear lash for that matter. So I went back with, which is weird, I went back with the 19 tooth. I've got torque out the wazoo on the low end. Yeah, I even thought of that too. I flipped them around, and it either put it too far away to where it wasn't meshing, or it was too close. So I don't know. And it was a 20 tooth spacer. It was the one from Vertigo Racing. So I don't know. I ended up putting the 19 tooths on the back, and would you believe the 20 tooth spacers on the front? No BS. That's what I did. And the gear mesh right here is perfect. I don't have any sort of weirdness going on. But I don't know if my brother-in-law is still on here or not, but if he is, let's see here. Well, let's see if I can turn this on. There we go. Yeah, the lights still work. Oh yeah, but I need to get a different light controller. I like the push button, but it would be nice to have something on a transmitter. But so anyway, that's kind of how this is going. You know, it's up and running again, thank God. And now all I gotta do is buy me some more fuel, and we're off and racing, or playing it. Let's put it that way. But that was another thing I did. So I had on here, I had a short extension for this oh my god, completely the word left me. Oh, the tank vent. I had a short extension of fuel line on there, which trying to get one of these on there, if you've done it before, you know how much of a pain in the ass it is. But I made a longer extension here just to get the vent a little higher. So yeah, I need to get some slicks. What is that one? Oh my goodness! There's a brand on DDM that a brand of rim and tire. I think the brand starts with a T. I can't remember what brand it is though. I want to say Trident or something like that. It's not that though. But they make a set of rims and slicks. I think you can get them for like rims and tires for $90 a pair. So like $180 or something like that. You can get a good set of rims and tires. Whether it's slicks, I was really leaning towards the slicks, just because of being able to drive on asphalt and stuff like that, which I think would be totally badass. But so I mean that's kind of how things have been going with it. Just ran it tonight. Like I said, it's running really, really good, and yeah, Triton. That's who I was thinking of, Triton. Yeah, those are some pretty cool looking rims. That is if they're in stock, of course. But I don't know if they make off-road tires. I haven't seen them. But of course the Hostels on those would look pretty wicked too, or whatever, the Pro Lines or whatever. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. So anyway, well, I'm gonna finish this up. I think Street Outlaws is just about ready to fire up. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go watch tonight. Get the Baja 5T rear hostile slicks. Yeah, are they wider, Keith? I mean, I don't suppose they're that much wider, which really doesn't matter. I'd have to go with possibly a different spur gear because your overall height of tire is going to be shorter, so it's going to hit its maximum RPM quicker. Going to change your gear ratio a little bit, but you could probably run a 24 tooth or larger if you're running slicks, I would think, which would be really, really cool. I'd like to see the those stadium trucks they have in Australia that race on-road. That would be kind of cool. But I think they're running big old knobbies too, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna finish this up. Catch some Street Outlaws. Oh, here's another thing. If you are ever in the Austin area, or you don't even have to go to Austin, Amarillo, they have one too. Nice. Send it to me, Keith. That would be awesome. Rudy's Barbecue. Rudy's Barbecue. That's all I got to say. It's family style barbecue, but it's the shit. And I mean, their brisket, their ribs, their turkey, whatever. Absolutely, the hands down, probably some of the best, if not the best barbecue I've ever tasted. So knowing that, I ordered, or not really ordered, but we bought some of their rub that they use on their stuff. So possibly this weekend I'm gonna cook me up some ribs and try that rub out on it and see how it goes. But yeah, awesome. Let me see. I'll look at that in a second, Keith. Yeah, buddy, Rudy's is awesome. Um, yeah, we were gonna go down to Franklin's Barbecue, um, and but they're open from 11 to 3 on weekdays and into Sunday and closed on Monday. But there's a 4 hour wait time, so you get there at, I don't know, early, butt crack 30, and you're waiting until they open. You get your stuff, you go, and hopefully they don't run out. But Rudy's, on the other hand, awesome place to eat. The experience was awesome. And I just used some of that rub on some burgers tonight. That's some good stuff. But I guess they used some different rub on their turkey too. So I don't know. I'll experiment with that. But yeah, that's some good stuff. Their brisket, oh my god, man, oh man, that was good stuff. So anyway, I'm out of here. You guys have a productive week, and we'll catch you later.